The Piper J3 Cub. The Piper J3 Cub is a light, multi-role aircraft developed by the American corporation Piper in the late 1930s and is still used till this day as a glider tug and a sailplane tug. Applications: equipped with one Continental A65-8 air-cooled, horizontally opposed, four-cylinder engine with 65 horsepower, a top speed of 87 miles an hour, a cruise speed of 75 miles per hour, a range of 220 miles, and a service ceiling of 11,500 feet. Design and development. The Tyler E-2, the predecessor to the J3, first appeared in 1930. Built by Tyler Aircraft in Bedford, Pennsylvania, sponsored by William T. Piper, a Bradford industrialist and investor, the affordable E-2 was meant to encourage greater interest in aviation. Later in the 1930s, the company went bankrupt, with Piper buying the assets, but kept co-founder C. Gilbert Tyler on as president. In 1936, the earlier Cub was alterated by employee Walter Germaniou to become the J2. While Tyler was on sick leave, the coincidence led to believe that the J stood for Germaniou. Well, aviation historian Peter Bowers concludes that the letter simply followed the E, F, G, and H models. The I was omitted because it could be mistaken for the number 1. When he saw the redesign, Tyler was so insisted that he fired Germaniou. Piper, however, had encouraged Germaniou's changes and hired him back. Then Piper bought Tyler's share in the company, paying him $250 per month for 3 years. That's about $4,247.25 today. Although sales were initially slow, about 1,200 J2s were produced before a fire in the Piper factory, a former silk mill in Bedford, Pennsylvania, ended its production in 1938. After Piper moved its company from Bradford to Lock Haven, Pennsylvania, the J3, which featured further changes by Jamuno, replaced the J2s. The changes were an integrated ventral fin of the tail into the rear fuselage structure and covered in simultaneously with each fuselage side. It changed the rearmost side windows, shaped smoothly, curved in half, curved oval outline. It placed a steerable tail wheel at the rear of the J2's leaf spring style tailskid, linked for its steering function to the lower end of the rudder, with springs and lightweight chains, to either end up as a double-ended rudder control horn. Powered by a 40 horsepower engine in 1938, it sold for just over $1,000. Several alternative air-cooled engines, typically flat fours, powered the J3s, designated J3Cs when using Continental A series, J3F using Franklin 4 ACs, and J3Ls while using Lycoming O-145 engines. A very few examples designated J3P were equipped with a Landpap Pegasus 3-cylinder radial engine. The Piper L4 Grasshopper was a variant used by the U.S. military for scouting and artillery spotting. The most famous Grasshopper is Rosie the Rocketeer. Her pilot, Lieutenant Colonel Charles Carpenter, nicknamed Bazooka Charlie, strapped 6 M1 bazookas on his aircraft and was able to destroy 2 tanks and several armored fighting vehicles after D-Day. Continental A65-8 engine startup. In the end, the Piper J3 Cub, which is still used till this day as a target tug and glider tug, is one of the most famous aircraft and one of the most recognizable from the 1930s until today. If there is any aircraft you would like me to cover, put it down in the comments down below.